I don't know, they just say like really, it's just like personal and you're just like, damn, that hurt. But then I'd kind of just be like, do you know what? Like I got to a stage where I was just like, why would I care?
Welcome back to another episode of Manage. So we have shaken things up. As you know, this is the HLD Talent podcast. So I've actually asked one of my talent managers, Cherish, she's also head of talent, to take over and interview my next guest, our very own Charlize. Hi, Amy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
So grateful to be here.
We're grateful to have you. How was today? You've been at London Fashion Week?
It was very, very good. I had so much fun. It was an early morning start, which is not like me, but it was really, really good. Thanks.
Not like you.
It's not
like any of us.
No, you guys texted me at like 10:30. I'm like, should get out of bed now, shouldn't I?
10:30? That's what you thought was an early start?
No, not today. Today was actually 6 a.m.
Oh, I was going to say.
But normally when I get up at 10:30, Cherish just texts me. I'm like, should have been up earlier.
Speaking of Cherish, we're changing up the reins today. I'm going to swap myself out.
Relieving me.
Enjoy the show.
Excited to be here, taking over Hannah's place. I'm ready. Well, Amy, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
I am honestly so excited. I feel like of all guests, you are going to be the one most exciting for me because obviously where we work together on a day-to-day, I feel like we've got lots of things we can talk about.
She's got to know me in 2 weeks very, very well.
Exactly. It's been a journey, but I am super excited. So yeah, I guess if you want to just introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Charlize and I obviously do TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, everything you can basically think of. I do a lot of content based on like get ready with me's. So I show like the day-to-day of me getting ready to go to things like school. Well, it used to be school. Going to school and then doing things just like random day things like, oh, get ready with me to go get my lashes done. And then I also like to throw in a bit of fashion. Obviously, I'm a Pretty Little Thing ambassador. So I always like to, do a little bit of the videos for them and also just in general kind of like doing fashion videos, showing my outfits. And then on YouTube, I just do day-to-day vlogs, really.
I mean, you're a pretty much all-rounder, to be fair, aren't you? You've got lots going on. But I mean, it would be quite interesting, I guess, to start off by saying how your journey first started, because you've been in the industry for some time now. So I guess tell everyone how the journey all began.
I mean, since I was like 8 or 9, I feel like my sister's always said to me to get involved because she's always wanted to do it. So she used to get me to do like River Island Kids and things like this when I was a child and like going for campaigns. And then when I got a bit older, I think probably when I was like 12 or 13, maybe 11, 12, I remember I said to like my mum and dad, I was like, I don't really want to do it anymore. I was like, I want to do dancing. And also because at this time I just started secondary school, so I was nervous for like what people was going to say. And I thought like if I become more comfortable within the people, then maybe it wouldn't be so embarrassing.
Yeah.
Once they kind of know me, if I just go in already being known as that, then they might think I'm a bit, whatever. But they already thought that anyway. So
well, I mean, it's quite interesting because your sisters are also in the industry.
Yeah.
So do you think you found that helpful? Obviously having like
definitely
sisters that are doing what you do, they can help you out with your content.
They literally, like my sister Georgia, she does all my editing, so it's a lot easier for me. But also like I feel like because they're in it, they understand when I'm like, oh, actually I can't go out tonight because I've got to do this ad. They'd understand it more than if I said that to my friends. They'd be like, just come out and do it tomorrow. Yeah. Well, but like they understand it a lot more, and they actually push me to keep going sometimes because I'm like, oh.
And like tonight, for example, like you're all going to different events, like you've all got your own things going on.
Literally.
New Kardashian family, I feel like up and coming, meet the Hobsons.
No.
Yeah.
No, and then like mum, she's really like hands on with it all. Like she always wants to get involved as much as she can, but like in a good way. I feel like sometimes like it could be a bit overwhelming, but she's not in that kind of sense. She's more just like, she'll talk to me, she'll get me through things. She'll be like, Emily, you haven't done this. Emily, reply to Cherish. That's all I ever get now. All I ever get. I literally won't reply to Cherish for like half an hour because I'm get on the bath and then I come out the bath and she's like knocking on my door and I'm like, what does she want? I'm naked.
That's
she's
what
like,
we need.
Emily, reply to Cherish. I'm like, I will in 2 minutes. I'm sorry.
Well, I guess in that sense then, has she been quite a big inspiration for you?
Definitely. Like one of my biggest inspirations, her and my dad. I feel like because my dad's had his own company and like he knows like the one thing he always says to me is like, stay grounded. Don't think you're better than everyone else, because the people you meet on the way up, you'll meet on the way down.
And a lot of people develop quite big egos in this industry as well, don't they? Some of the people that you meet. So
definitely,
it is so important to just stay grounded, stay humble, even though you're doing all these incredible things.
And literally, like my dad always says, like, don't get too big for your boots, don't do this, don't do that. But I feel like the main thing with that is, even though he doesn't probably think it, he actually does have an impact on it, because sometimes I'm like, do you know what? Why am I being like that? Like, I'll be like, Dad, I've got to do this now, so go out of my room. But then I think, actually, he's still my dad. I can still talk to him. So, yeah, I feel like it's really nice to have my mum and dad there. But I think they're definitely, like, my biggest inspirations. Especially, like, with my mum, just because, like, she's so nice and, like, she's so bubbly, and it makes me want to be like her instead of being... Like, sometimes I meet people and they're just really, like, quiet and shy, and I'm like, I want to bring them out their shell because that's what my mum would do, kind of thing. Like, even with some people, like my friends, if they come around, my mum will always be like trying to get them out their shell, talk to them, ask them questions. She doesn't want people to feel uncomfortable, and that's kind of what I've picked up on growing up.
Definitely. I mean, so many people, when we've been to events, obviously just in the couple of weeks really that we've been sort of on this journey with you, I've noticed how confident you are, and not in an arrogant way at all. It's just like for someone who is 16 to be able to hold themselves so well, so professionally, so friendly. Like, do you think that's definitely lessons that obviously you've learned from home, I guess?
I definitely would say like my sisters. I feel like I've become very grown up very quickly, but I'd only say because of them, because not even in the way that they pushed me to be like, wear makeup, do this, but in the way of like, I went to my first event when I was 13, in heels and a dress, like extensions in my hair. Like I kind of had it all from such a young age. But I feel like because they kind of was there to be like, don't talk like that, you sound like an idiot. They'd be like, do it this way, or when you're posting content, make sure, don't do this, that looks bad. Like they've always been there to kind of instruct me.
Yeah,
they're very good like role models to have. And I feel like because I have older sisters, I've grown up quicker, but in a good way.
Yeah.
But I always find like with my friends, when I'm talking to my friends, I can tell if they've got older siblings or not. Especially girls, if they've got older sisters, they're more like me, more than when my friends are like only child, or they're like the eldest. Yeah, you're the only child. But when they're like the eldest child, you can really tell that like they're different to how I've been brought up. Like they're just, I don't know, it's just a bit different. So I find it really interesting.
You've got that big sister energy around you, so that's what you now give off to everyone else.
Well, I wish.
Yeah, no,
I hope so.
I mean,
that's
I guess
cute.
Going back to what you said about, you know, staying humble, staying grounded, I think if we talk about your PLT collection, because obviously I don't personally know anyone who's 16. You was 15 actually when they signed this contract off, to have their own PLT collection for your sweet 16th. How did you find that?
When I got the message, I remember I was at school and I was like, can I go home? I was like, I want to go celebrate.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, stay in school. But I got the message through, and basically I went to their headquarters a few weeks before, but I had no idea like why, because they didn't really, at this point, no one really went to the headquarters. I'd always watched Molly May, but like, I don't know, I didn't really understand. And then 1 minute I went in there and I did a live for them, and they was all like, oh my God, you did so well. Like they're all coming in. She's texting like the managers, and I'm thinking, why are they hyping it up so much? I was like, this is really scary. And then I got told a few weeks later, oh, they want you to be their new brand ambassador. And I was like, so that's why they wanted to check.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, what like an experience. But also like, it was just really, really like weird to me because I've always worn their clothes. So it didn't seem like...
It was organic for you.
It was very organic and like authentic to me. Like it wasn't something where, I don't know, I just thought, oh yeah, I'll do that because it's a brand deal. I thought of it as like, oh my God, it's my dream. And I feel like out of all the brands, that's the one brand that I've always wished to work with. And it's really weird because the date of my, I don't think I've ever said this, the date of my launch event was August 8th. And on August 8th, it's called a full moon thing where you manifest, and it's the one date a year where apparently your manifestation is meant to come true. So basically the year before I wrote in this notebook, and I had the paper in my room, and on August 8th I wrote the year before I want a PLT edit, and it came true. And on that day was my birthday party event. So
wow, that is
was
crazy.
Really like, I remember when I sat down and I was like, oh my God, it's the full moon tonight. And I was like, oh my, like, wait, what?
360 moment right now.
Literally this time last year I was in Spain on my balcony writing and putting it on into the moon, like with my little crystal.
That's so crazy.
So it was kind of like, I don't know, I just think
pinch me moment.
Yeah, definitely. And it was just like a really surreal feeling to be like, I'm working with people like Pretty Little Thing. I feel like when people come out of Love Island, when people are working with brands, the big aim is to get a PLT deal, really, isn't it? So when I kind of got off it, I was just like,
tick.
Yeah, no, not even tick. It was just like, what? It was just like a gobsmack moment, but it was really, really cool.
I mean, if we talk about the process of that, obviously you were very involved from like start to finish. What would you say are like some things that surprised you and like how much involvement you really got to have within that journey?
I would definitely say, as in like with the team, like they sat me down, we had meetings, quite a lot of meetings. So I thought it was very like they do it and I just get to sit back, but they was asking me, what do you want for the events? What do you want for this? How do you want your shoot? And I was like, well, I want this. And then
hands-on.
Very hands-on, and like with the whole collection I got my whole kind of like pick on what I wanted. And I feel like with some of them you just think, are they just going to pick it for me? But they actually allowed me to, and then they obviously styled it a bit better because my style, honestly I can't pair an outfit to save my life. But no, it was really, really cool, and I feel like I didn't realise how much involvement I would have, especially with like my event. I just thought they'd do it and I'd walk up and turn up.
Let's talk about the event, because I feel like there's a lot of people are going to want to know from that. I saw it all over social media.
Yeah.
So like, how did you find, obviously you had to do a meet and greet with like so many people coming in to see you, obviously
go home,
yourself.
makeup artist cancelled on me, then I had to try and find another one.
Talk about your whole experience.
No, so I had to fly back the night before from Spain because I have a house there, so we go there for summer, and then I come back the night before with my best friend, and then my other friend met us in Oxford Street that evening. We went and got, I think it was meant to get a Nando's, but then we ended up getting to the hotel because we were too tired. So we went back to the hotel, and I've got so many videos of that night because me and my friends, we got like face masks, we got matching pajamas from Victoria's Secret, and then we was like laying in the bed, we had like pizza, and then we was doing like face masks, filming videos. It's just really cute. And then so basically we had me, my mum, my friends Scarlett and Ellie all in a bed. So,
oh my gosh,
it was a hectic no sleep night. I was in the middle and I just could not breathe. I was like, what is going on? But no, I didn't get the best night's sleep. But
event
other than that, on the day, it was like surreal. I mean, I woke up and my friends were still sounder, so I had to be really quiet getting ready. And then I went to the event because realistically, what I wanted was someone to come in the morning, do my makeup for my meet and greet, and then touch ups and make it like really nice for the event. But the woman completely like muddled it around. She said she couldn't make the morning, so she'd have to make the afternoon. So I was like, that's fine. If you can come for one, that's perfect. I really wanted it for the event. And not that I can't do my own, but I just feel like it's always nice to have.
There was a lot of pictures and a lot of content going on, so you want to feel confident.
Yeah, and if I do it on myself, I just don't feel as confident as when other people do it on me. So the woman that was supposed to do it basically texted me and said, there's been an oil leak in Manchester, we can't get on the trains. So I was like, great. So I was like, what the hell do I do? So I'm panicking. I've just finished my meet and greet, which was incredible. Like I met so many people. They all got me like presents. Girls were crying and I was like, don't cry.
How do you find meeting, obviously, the people that watch you?
I love it. Yeah. And I feel like some people come up to me after and they're like, oh, you must hate it. And I'm like, but why? Like it's nice to actually visualize it because you see numbers, but numbers isn't the same as an actual like person being there. So when I see it in real life, even when people just come up to me and be like, oh, I love your videos, it's just like that little thing, but it makes a lot to me because I just think like, well, you're actually watching me and you're feeling the need to come up and say hello or take a picture with me. I think it's really cool, to be honest. And I never take it for granted. Like I always like meeting people, and even like if I'm sitting in a restaurant, I'd always take a picture.
I was going to say, every time I've been with you, I mean, you always get so many people come over to you and say, you want pictures? And you do always, I don't know, I've never seen you have like a bad experience with a fan. Like, have you ever experienced anyone that's maybe taken it too far, or have they always been super friendly when they've met you?
I think everyone's been really nice. I mean, sometimes at Reading Festival, for example, like there was a dad and his daughter, but like I needed to go and they was just being like, oh, you're so rude. And I was like, well, I'm not being rude. I've got to go. Like I took the
people
picture.
Don't realise.
I spoke to you for 5 minutes, but I can't sit and talk.
Yeah.
And he was like, who even are you? And I was like,
yeah, I know. People get funny sometimes when you can't.
Other than that, I've never had a bad experience. I mean, like sometimes like mums at like Top Fest would be like, my daughter's had this wrong with her. And then I'd go up to them and she'd be like, we just said that to get you over. And I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
strange. I mean, that's not really the right way to do it, but okay.
No.
But because I'd go up to her and be like, I'm really sorry. And she'd be like, look at her mum. And I'm like, maybe she didn't have that then.
Strange, yeah.
But like I'd always stop and say hello. It's sometimes annoying though when I'm like at events and like the bodyguards are like, no, don't talk to them. And I'm like, sorry, I don't think I'm anyone special. I'm just as normal as they are. So why can't I have a conversation? I really don't get fazed by it. Like some people get like overwhelmed and things like that, but I've never really experienced it. And I remember the first time I went to Top Fest when I was 13, I didn't think I was going to get, I just thought like I'd go, you know, a few people here and there, I'd be able to walk around. I literally walked into the entrance and there was a swarm of people.
I remember your mum was filming, like the queues were insane. Like just so many people just waiting for a photo with you.
Yeah.
That's a lot to take in as a 13-year-old. When I saw
that's when I was like, wow. Like people actually know, because it was all through lockdown. So this was the first time I could come out and see it.
See everyone.
And obviously like when I'm walking around shopping centres with a mask and it's COVID, no one wants to really interact. Like they still come up and ask for a picture, but it would be like social distance or do this or do that.
Yeah.
So it was always a bit like, I don't know, different. And then when I come out and it was like lockdown was over, all of that happened, I was just like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know what to say. I was just like, this is like my dream. Yeah.
So what sort of stuff have you got going on at the moment? I don't know if you want to tell everyone about where we've been today, this next week coming up.
Yeah. So I've actually never attended a fashion show like I did today, but I went with Tony and Guy and it was absolutely like incredible. I had the best time. We were doing the fashion walk,
Paul Costello.
I can never pronounce the word. But Paul Costello was the show and the outfits were incredible. I even got to go backstage and like actually see the models, and like it was kind of just like an eye-opening moment because I was like, wow, like I'd normally be the fan that's watching this online on live, do you know what I mean? So it was really like cool to be able to do that. And then we went to another one which was really cool, but no, I've got quite a lot
quite a few coming up this year.
I mean, like when I'm looking on my calendar I'm like, damn, I can't do that. Sorry guys.
I know.
Sorry.
We're actually having to turn a lot down.
Booking me up.
I know. We're getting busy, but it's good.
Yeah, literally. But it's very exciting. I mean, I've got like a talk show next week to talk about like bullying and things like that, which would be really fun. Mm-hmm. And then obviously my podcast.
Oh, TBC.
Definitely. I feel like it would be really cool to get on and be able to actually talk a bit more in depth about me and talk to someone else about it. And I feel like for my age, it would be really cool to be able to like talk to someone my age and be like, well, yeah, school.
Girl talk,
everything that girls kind of need to know, and boys. I feel like it would be quite nice to be like a big sister to the younger generation. Because
well, that's the thing, isn't it? There's no one out there at the moment really that I've seen that have really made noise around that and with your generation. So I think,
and I feel like when I watch girl talks, I've watched them my whole life, because when I was younger, sometimes I didn't want to go to my sisters and be like, start my period. I go to like YouTube and be like, what do I do?
Yeah, it's sort of in secret trying to find out all the answers.
Trying to find out. So I like still watch girl talks now. I think they're really good. I watched Saffron's 2 days ago with her best friend. But I feel like with the whole girl talk situation, when I watch some older girls, they're talking about things that like I don't need to know, or like I'm too young to really like, do you know what I mean? More than like for my age, no one really talks about like the start of your periods. They just talk about, well, now I'm on the pill or this or that. It would be nice to be able to say like from like a younger, like I didn't know what to do, and it'd be nice if I didn't have older siblings. I don't know what I would have done. I was so scared to tell my mum and dad. So I feel like definitely I'd like to be able to help the youngers, and definitely like even just my age. Like it won't just be all about this is what you do, but like kind of giving that advice, because I know how daunting it can be to grow up as a teenage girl, especially in this generation. No, it's harsh. Sure. Like
it is. I mean, especially with social media, I think even, you know, for the generations above you, they didn't grow up with social media. I feel like that's a new thing.
And
that's
people
sort of like
mistaken it.
Exactly. And there's a lot of negativity that comes with being online. There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of things out there that people necessarily shouldn't be seeing at the age they're seeing it, I feel.
Yeah, definitely.
So how do you feel like you've found your experience growing up and obviously dealing with constantly comparing yourself to people online and comparing, you know, there's people right now that are, I mean, how old's Molly May? 23, 24, 23 maybe? 20, and she's got like this massive house. She's so successful. And then there's so many people that sort of compare themselves to that, thinking, oh God, I'm this age, or, oh, I'm older and I'm not at that point. And I think people start to feel very negatively about themselves and their own life. Like what advice would you give to people that are sort of comparing themselves on online?
The one thing I would say is definitely people mistaking it, and they're like, oh, you have such an easy life. And it's like, I'm not taking it for granted at all. It's so cool and it's so much easier than like any other jobs. But it does come with like a lot more than people think. I just always have been brought up to be like happy for others' success and then also try my own success. Do you know what I mean? Like I've never, when it comes to comparing and things, I feel like until this year is when I kind of started to like compare things and was like, oh, she's got this, she's got that. And like, I went through a phase where I was like, oh, I want designer this, I want design. And then I was like, do you know what? I actually am so much more happy with just my PLT outfits.
Yeah.
Like, I tried it.
I tried it all, not because someone else has got it.
So I just feel like with bullying and like social media in general, like the whole, I don't know, cyberbullying thing, it's just a bit like it's so overwhelming. But like people don't understand that. They just think, oh, she can deal with a hate comment. But like it hurts. And people are like, you've set yourself up to do it, to get hate. But
no, you set yourself up to have a positive platform to help young women. I haven't signed myself up to receive all of this hate online.
Yeah,
constantly nitpicking my appearance and what I'm saying and like going into every little detail about your life.
And I think growing up, especially, like obviously I'm growing up, when you get to like 13, you're quite insecure anyways, because you're just like, everything's changing. You go through that stage, you just feel ugly. And I remember like growing up and like someone would comment and be like, oh my God, her eyebrows, you can see they're so fair. And then I'd be like, Mum, tint my eyebrows tonight. But she'd never know. But like in my head, and then they'd be like, I don't know, they just say like really, you know, it's just like personal and you're just like, damn, that hurt. But then I'd kind of just be like, do you know what? Like I got to a stage where I was just like, why would I care? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, at the moment, obviously we're talking about the experience you've had online from comments and people obviously like behind a phone saying certain things, but also when you was at school, you dealt with some things in person with some of your, you know, the people that went to your school.
I didn't go to school for 2 months because like the police told me don't go in because you're like unsafe in school.
Really?
Like I didn't go to school.
That's a lot for a young person to deal with.
Bear in mind, I'd had like 2 years off school because of lockdown, and then I couldn't go in for 2 months because they was like, we don't advise you to go in at the moment. It's too unsafe for you, because people was threatening me. Like, I don't know. I think as a child, crazy. You shouldn't have to go through that. And especially even as an adult, no one should like allow that to happen to someone. But I think, do you know what? It hit my family the most because they knew they couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like there's only so much they can do. They can be there for me, but they can't stop it. Do you know what I mean? And like my dad was so angry all the time. Like it get him so down because he'd be like, I don't want to see my daughter getting picked on. Like that was never me. And then he'd like put me into boxing to try to get me some confidence in case someone did throw a punch at me. Like what am I supposed to do?
So mental that you're having to deal with that at such a young age.
Literally like signed up to street fighting, trying to like learn how to defend myself if someone was to do something. Like I don't know, little things like that. I just think it's been such a good journey, but then I remember them and I'm like, do you know what? That was really horrible. Yeah. But overall, like social media, I don't get that much hate. Like,
no, you are lucky. You do have so much love. I know just from like the second that we signed you,
the fan pages, the
fan
cutest
pages
people.
Go crazy. Yeah. I mean, I've never experienced it when I've signed a talent ever before, to have so much attention on me. Like I feel like you literally, I think you reposted me on a story and it was like I gained X amount of followers. I was like, I don't even post on Instagram that much. It's crazy. Like your fans love you. Like they are so.
I literally like love them as well, because like thing is, they come to everything. If I'm in Birmingham for a meet and greet, if I'm in London, if I'm here or there, Lincolnshire, like they'll always follow. And I feel like it's really nice. And this is always like a tip I always say to people, like if you treat your followers with kindness, even when you've got none, they will always be nice to you. Like I remember like people would be like, I love this video, and I'd be like, thank you so much. And it's like, bless me, like it's really not that deep, but I think it's like so lovely that they comment on my video. And I feel like because I've always been like that and I've always interacted with them.
Yeah.
I've been to meet and greets with like other influencers there, and they've been like, I don't want to hug her.
Cold.
I don't want to hug them. Like, what do I do? Because I don't want to hug them.
Yeah.
I get personal space, but not everyone wants it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's 2 seconds of your day.
Yeah.
It's going to either make their day or make your own day, because you're like, oh, do you know what I mean? Like
appreciate
people
you.
care.
Yeah.
But I feel like with like fan pages and stuff, like they go hard. They are strong.
They are strong.
And like if one video, like they're in the comments, there's this one girl called Sel who's like followed me for years, and she's always in the comments like, leave her alone. And I'm like, go on, Sel.
Yeah.
You tell her.
Me.
You got my back. But there's literally like, I could say so many of them. And I feel like because they come to so much, I now feel like we're friends.
Yeah.
Like I'll go on the group chats and be like, hi guys. And they're like, oh my God. I'm like, you've met me 4 times.
Yeah.
Stop acting confused.
Yeah.
Like when they come again, there's a girl called Mia. I mean, she was like year 4, I think, when she first started following me. She's now like going into secondary school. And I'm just like, wow.
Growing up with these people.
Yeah, literally. But I love that because I've grown up to be such a fan of people. Like I told you at the NTAs, like when I was at the NTAs, I saw Saffron, and like I've literally got all her merchandise since that girl started. Since she was like, I must have been like 7 or 8 when she was 14, 15 doing it. And like I've got all her merch. I went to all her meet and greets. I used to pay like extortionate amounts just to meet her, and like go to her pop-ups for Primark and things like that.
Okay.
Like as a follower myself, I know how you should deal with it and how to treat people, because when I was doing it and I was like going up to people asking for pictures, if someone said no to me, in the back of my head, I've always got that, and I'm just like, oh, she was rude.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
You
like,
do remember the experiences that you had with people.
So I always think if you treat people with kindness, then they can't turn around and be like, well, she was rude. They can only be like, oh, she was actually really nice. Do you know what I mean? And I think I don't even do it just for the what they're going to say back. I just do it because I know how it feels to be a fan. So I want to treat people how I wanted to be treated. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's really nice to be able to do that.
I mean, something I do want to talk about is obviously where you are 16, there are some restrictions because obviously it's when you hit 18 is sort of when you're your own person. Yeah, but I mean, what sort of things is it that you feel like you're potentially missing out on, or things that you're looking forward to that when you do turn 18, that's what you want to be focusing on?
Definitely when I turn 18, I feel like going away, abroad trips. Definitely.
Brand trips. Yeah.
Brand trips is something I've always wanted to do. And I've always watched people and I'm like, oh, they're going skiing, they're doing this. I wish I could do that.
Yeah.
But definitely like that kind of stuff. But also like when I'm a bit older, maybe it'll restrict so much of like she's too young right now. Kind of some brands are like that, aren't they? Like they'll be like, oh, sorry, we're looking for a bit of an older perspective or something. But like for me, it's mainly, I like the age I am now because child license is gone. I don't have to worry about that anymore. That was the most dreadful thing. Yeah. And being at school and my school being like, you're not allowed to go to that shoot. And I'd be like, please.
Yeah, please.
I'd be like, no. And they'd be like, your attendance is dreadful, Emily. You're not having another day off. I'd be like, I don't need this, please.
Well, do you know what I find crazy is obviously, you know, your next steps, you're not going to be going to college. I don't know if you want to talk slightly about that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because obviously a lot of people are sort of saying, what's the next steps?
Oh, my comments are like crazy, right? They're like, why? Where are you going?
So
what are you doing?
What are you doing?
For me, just because I've had such a bad experience at school, like since I was getting bullied, I was like, I don't want to go to college. I don't want to have to go through that again. I was never going to get in my school sixth form. And that was kind of the only way I feel like I would have still known people that have known me from before social media. Because thing is, like, I've joined netball clubs where girls have literally like had an opinion from the minute I walked in and been like, oh, she's that TikTok girl.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to go to college and feel pushed out because of it, but also I don't want to get used. And I feel like at places like that, if I was to go to college, the only thing I'm good at is media. I would have gone into a course where people are trying to do social media and then I feel like I'm just with people that kind of want to be doing what I did. They could just use me and that's not the only reason. I just feel like when I was looking at the courses, I was like, there's nothing I want to do.
You were passionate about.
I'm so passionate about what I do and I want to keep doing it and even bigger extent. And being at school, being at college restricts your time and restricts the things you're able to do. Like if I was at college now, I wouldn't have gone to London Fashion Week this morning. I would have been at college. Like all my friends are at college today or school.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's really nice to have that kind of ease because basically there is like a legality or a law where if you make over a certain amount of money, you don't have to go to college or go to school.
Do you know what really surprises me is obviously like you don't even own your own bank account yet.
No.
So obviously you're not allowed a bank account until you're 18. So it's all in your parents' names. Like that's so crazy to me that like that is the situation for you already. Like how do you find it? Because obviously you're earning all of this money and I guess your parents must be sort of like, we're going to be keeping hold of it, save it. Like how does it work?
To be honest, I just let my dad sort it all out. Like when it comes to accountant meetings, I'll put my head in and be like, hi.
Yeah.
And then I'm out. But I don't get it at all. Like I remember my dad was trying to talk to me about tax or something and I was like, you don't make sense. He was like, watch a video then. Sent me a 30-minute. I was like, Dad, no.
The thing is they don't teach you that stuff in school. I feel like there is so many important topics like that.
Definitely. And even
real
just life
things.
lessons.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Where's like the whole like, I don't know, from a young age, I think they should be telling kids like not to pick on people, not to do this, but they didn't do that for us. Like it was always just like, don't call her that, what are you doing? But if they treated kids like adults, when you're year 10 and 11, you're basically going into adulthood anyways, or you're becoming a grown up, I think they should be learning stuff like that. Like definitely. But my school have now recently introduced doing economics and law and finance. So I feel like that's more pushing into
helpful.
Tax and things like that. But we never had that when I was at school. So
well, I guess to round off then, what advice do you think you'd give to people that are your age, that are just sort of, you know, they're doing their GCSEs, potentially dealing with bullying, dealing with, you know, what life throws at them? What advice would you throw their way?
I think everything, as much as I hate like ever thinking of someone getting bullied, everything happens for a reason and there will be a reason for why you're getting bullied and the outcome of it will be so good for you. Like it kind of, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like if you're getting bullied, you really need to talk to people though. Because at one point I was just kind of keeping it to myself and then you end up just bottling it all up. And I feel like making sure you're talking to people, staying in contact with close friends, your family, even whoever you have close to you. Because as soon as you kind of lose contact with yourself and also others is when it can all just go downhill. I did not think I was going to pass maths. I'd never passed an exam in my life.
Yeah, I remember you being so worried.
School, I was so scared. But literally, as soon as I passed maths, it was like, all that revision actually went to something. So like if you're going into GCSE season, I would say revising is a good solution. And I feel like don't leave it till, oh my God, my GCSE starts tomorrow, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
But with my maths, I'd had tutoring for months before to kind of keep me prepared. So I feel like definitely, if you like, tutoring's so expensive.
Yeah,
I was paying so much for my tutoring. So even if you can't do tutoring, there's so much like online stuff now. There's so much out there for you. Like even like this woman used to do lives every Wednesday night. I used to join them and just do a past paper every night.
Yeah, that's like, so good. Yeah.
She's teaching you.
There's a lot of people on TikTok now that do sort of try and help.
And I think that's so lovely of them, because like also they're teachers. They've come home from doing a long day of work with kids that are horrible.
Yeah.
So then want to help kids online. Do you know what I mean? If you stay consistent, that's with work, that's with school, that's with social media. If you stick to it, then you actually end up doing really well. So yeah.
I mean, just to finish then, I guess what advice would you give to people that, you know, do really want to break into social media, that perhaps don't have that confidence? Or maybe people that are already on there and sort of feeling lacking motivation. Obviously, you've smashed it. What are your top tips?
Just literally do it. Like, I think it's so like hard to say anything else, because there's so many tips. There's like post consistently, do this. But the main thing is, if you've got the mindset to just keep going, you will do well no matter what. And like I've seen so many girls, which is really cute, because like, I follow some people that are like micro influencers at the beginning, and now they're like 200k getting gifted by brands, and I'm like, that makes me feel so happy, because you actually stayed and stuck to it. It's not an overnight thing, and it will take time, but as soon as you kind of get to the end of it, it's like amazing. So yeah, I just say do it. Why not?
Yeah, amazing.
And don't listen to other people, because they're only jealous of you. And I do think like people didn't want me to do it because they either wanted to do it or they was too scared to do it.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. Honestly, it's been so nice talking to you as always.
Thank you for having me.
But I guess, like Hannah always likes to end these, if you had to manage one part of your life differently, what would you say that would be?
Ooh. I'd say like the work life, like kind of switching off. Sometimes it's really hard. I'll be in bed at like 2 a.m. and I'm like, right, I want to do a story now. And then I'm like, what am I doing? Like, let me go to bed.
Your work is your life.
My work is my life. So it's kind of hard to sometimes switch it off, or like even prioritizing my friends and doing work. It's just really hard to keep everything separate but together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I definitely just say like, if I could, I'd want to manage my work life a little bit better.
Work-life balance.
Work-life balance would be amazing. It's coming soon.
Oh,
it's just I'm fitting into it all right now. So it takes a while.
We're finding our feet still, but we're getting there.
We're getting there, definitely.
Amazing. No, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Managed. If you loved watching, please make sure you're following us so you can receive updates on our next episode. I'll see you next week.